Hi everybody! Today we're going to discuss scene quizzes and how to study for them. Now, in order to do this, we're going to first talk about WH questions. So what is a scene? I'm sure you already know what an unseen is. You've done them either in previous English courses, maybe in high school. So the scene is the opposite. It's a reading text that you have time to read and prepare in advance. It's seen and not unseen, so you see it. You read the text, you bring it with you to class, and then you answer questions about it in class. Why should we do this? Well, the scene quiz that we're going to do has the exact same format as your midterm exam, so it's excellent preparation. It's a practice for the midterm itself. And when are we going to do it and where? We will do that, the scene quiz, in our face-to-face lesson next week on Sunday, April 29th, and you know that's at 5 o'clock in Building 20, Room 207. So how are we going to do it? Well, you'll have an hour and a half to complete the practice exam, and then we'll go over the answers so that you are prepared for the midterm. And because this is the practice, I'll be walking around answering questions that you have as you work. Obviously, not questions you should have known by reading the text in advance, but questions that will help you succeed. So how should you prepare? First of all, you're going to download and print the text. You'll find the link to that on Moodle right under this presentation. You're going to preview the text, and we'll talk about what that means in a minute. You're going to look up words you don't know, and you're going to write their meanings. But only look up words that are essential to your understanding. Don't go crazy. Don't waste your time looking up every single word in the dictionary. I promise you, you don't need them all. And write down some notes in the margins of your page. So now let's discuss in depth how you do these things. Well, first of all, how to preview. This is called global reading, and to do this you need a minimum use of a dictionary. So first of all, you want to find out what the general topic of the article is, and you can do this by reading the title. That will help you predict what the topic of the text is after you read the title. And what about the structure of the text? Well, you can read section titles and headings. You can read any extra textual information. That means things that are not part of the main text, the things that are outside of the main text. We'll look at some in a minute. This includes any boxes of text, any graphs, any illustrations, any tables. And after you look at them, ask yourself, what information do I already know? And then try to summarize that text that's already in your mind. And if you need extra help, there is a presentation on Lesson 1 on Moodle called Reading on the Run. You can go back and look at that for sure. So let's take an example from an article that you just finished reading, DNA is Not Destiny. When you're previewing, let's see what you can see on the first half of this page without even reading one word of the article. Well, you already know the source. The source is what's identified here in yellow. It's from November 2006. It's from Discover Magazine. And that already tells you something. You know the title, DNA is Not Destiny, the new science of epigenetics. So you know it's going to be about epigenetics, and you know that epigenetics has to do with the fact that DNA isn't everything. It doesn't determine your future, according to this article. You can see who the author is. See his name right here. You can look at this image of these two mice, and you can see that one of them is very different from the other one. And by reading the caption or the description under the picture, you can find out more about these mice and what happened to them. And from that, you already know a ton about your article. Now, you can go and scan the text quickly. These are the things, you're looking for things that jump out at you. So one of these things might be a quote. So let's look at the yellow quote. Did this change in diet increase cancer risk? Did it increase depression? Did it increase schizophrenia? Did it increase dementia or Alzheimer's? We don't know yet, and it will take some time to sort it out. But we already know that important diseases that are very problematic are going to be dealt with and there is a change as a result of epigenetics, change in our information. You can find important names. You can find the name Jerdal. You can find Zeev. You can also find Michael Skinner, and you know he's a geneticist. It tells you that. You can see a heading, generational inheritance. So you know it's going to have to do with something to do with generations and what you inherit from generation to generation. And you can see that there are important words sometimes that are explained. The word plethora here has a little 3 next to it, and at the bottom of the page you see the number 3 and an explanation of the word plethora. So you already have a ton of information. You haven't read a full sentence yet. So now you're going to start looking at the important parts of the text to preview them. You want to find out what the main claim or thesis is. Remember, we talked about the thesis in one of the exercises that you did in our previous lessons. So you're going to read the abstract in your text and the introduction, and hopefully by now you have that text in front of you. And you're going to look up the words that are very important to understand the main claim or main purpose of the text. Now you can also go back to look at the topic purpose thesis, PowerPoint and the exercise that you worked on, the Moodle quiz. You're going to read the concluding sentence and the heading from that section. And you're going to look for whether in that section there's a restatement of that claim. You're going to look for the conclusions, the implications, other recommendations. You'll find that out when you read it. And then you're going to start close reading. You're going to look at how the paragraphs are connected. Do you see the words also, but, to? That means they're continuing with the same idea. You're going to look for words, reference words like these and this and it and such in the first sentence of a paragraph that you might highlight. You're going to look for ideas. You're going to look for the opposite of previous ideas. You're going to see if something changes to an unrelated idea. And you're going to write comments and arrows and notes in your margins. Then you're going to read the whole text. You're going to pay attention to what you do understand and not what you don't understand. Do not translate every word. Highlight idea sentences or idea phrases. These are usually the first or last sentences of the paragraphs. And look for what kind of idea you see there. Then you will do more close reading. And you'll see that there might be stories or examples in the text. And you're going to think about what idea they illustrate. Connecting words will help you with this. First, second, additional, unlike, similar to, those will help you understand. Okay, so then you're going to prepare for test questions. You're going to see if you can answer questions like cause and result question, like what happened as a result of. You're going to see if you can answer questions that involve definition of terms. What's the main idea of? There might be a term there that you have to understand. Comparison or contrast. You might have a question that says something is larger or smaller than something else. You might have an idea in the illustration of it. So a question like what are X, Y, and Z examples of is a good idea and illustration question. You might have a sequence question like map these events on the timeline, which came first, which came next, which came after that. And you're going to make sure you can answer these questions about knowing the author's thesis or claim, knowing the ideas that support it, and knowing what the author's purpose is in writing the text. Remember, purpose that has a verb that will help you notice that it's the purpose. The author wants to investigate something. The author reported on something. The author examined something. And the author's thesis or claim, remember, if you can say the author believes that, then you have found the claim. Look at the unfamiliar words and try to understand them from their context. And look for keywords in the dictionary. And also difficult terms you're going to check online. And how do you do that? Well, sometimes words and phrases are concepts and they're not in the dictionary. So type the word define with a colon, nukudotayim, a colon, into the Google search bar, followed by a phrase. For example, wellness programs. You would type define wellness programs, and Google will send you to sources where you can find the definition. Did you know that? It's really a helpful technique. So what are you going to bring to the test? You're going to bring a marked up printed copy of the text with your highlighted sections, with the title, the headings, the dates, abstract main idea sentences, with difficult words translated. That means you're going to be writing them on the text itself. You're going to put some notes in your language, but no more than a short sentence per paragraph. And you're going to bring a black or blue pen. In fact, I suggest you bring 2 or 3, just in case your pen runs out. Again, remember this is practice for the exam. You can't use a red pen or a pencil. You're going to bring a highlighter or maybe 2 in different colors. You're going to bring a good English dictionary. Now, you can have a paper dictionary, a book, or you can have an electronic dictionary, but not one that's connected to the internet. You cannot use an app. You cannot use a browser. You can only use a paper dictionary. Your phones will be put away, or an electronic dictionary that is a separate piece of equipment that you have. If you bring an electronic dictionary, I suggest that you turn off the bleeps so that it doesn't make noise, and also bring extra batteries. Guys, dictionaries are notorious for running out of batteries in the middle of your exam. Again, you're practicing for your midterm. Can't use your cell phone, you can't use a tablet, you can't use a Quictionary. Special accommodations, hat-amot. If you are entitled to special accommodations, make sure you bring your letter, ishur, from the center, from the Merkaz Negishut. If you have extra time, you will get an additional 20 minutes. If you're allowed to listen to the text Hakra'ah, then do this. Download it to your laptop. Download Natural Reader, the text-to-speech free software that you probably are familiar with, and practice using it with the actual text. And print and mark up the text in any case. Bring it with you. What happens if your computer isn't working? What happens if something goes wrong? Make sure you have a printed copy. And bring your computer and your headphones to class with you. This is all for people who have special accommodations, not for everybody else. And guys, you cannot use Google Translate printed versions. If you translate into Google, don't bother bringing it. It's not going to be allowed. And you will not be allowed to take the quiz, the scene quiz. So that's about it. Make sure you email me if you have any questions, and I will answer questions before we start. And good luck to everybody. See you face to face in a week. I'm looking forward to it. Bye for now.